I am stoked for this video, man, because I get to share with you my personal top 20 Christian rock and metal song intros of all time.
Rocking you up for Jesus Christ with classic style hard rock music and practical Bible teaching.
Now, before we dive into this list, let me share with you the criteria I used to pick these 20, because you know there's like a bazillion awesome songs out there, right? How do you narrow it down? First, I limited myself to one intro per band. Several of the bands on this list, man, they could have taken up multiple slots. Criteria number 2, I put a premium on what I call the trigger factor. The trigger factor is the power of an intro to, the moment you hear it, transport you back to a feeling or a place or a meaningful moment in time. Every single one of these intros, to one degree or another, has that effect on me. So I pretty quickly had a list of a little bit more than 20 intros. And then I just spent a little bit of time with the list and started moving things around, going, man, I love that song, but this one definitely goes above that one, that kind of thing. And within a relatively short period of time, I had a list loosely ranked from 20 down to number 1. With all that in mind, let's dive in. Intro number 20, Run from the Darkness by Daniel Band. The moment you hear this opening keyboard part, it galvanizes your heart and mind into the moment that this song creates. It draws you in, especially if you've seen Daniel Band live. When they play this live, it's like the world stops and everybody's just locked in to Run from the Darkness. The power chords that they drop in, man, just powerfully build anticipation. And the entire intro sets up the entrance for the opening vocal perfectly.
I gotta run from the darkness that I once knew.
Intro number 19, Medicine by X-Sinner. This one might be on the list, at least in part, because in my BC life before Christ, I was a die-hard AC/DC fan. I'm just a total sucker for a raw, hooky, bluesy guitar riff that has that head-banging compulsion. I love how it begins to build with that single snare hit. And then the second guitar comes in and just elevates it. It's just an infectious, uber classic hard rock intro. Intro number 18, Do We Just Surrender by Novella. When it's done well, and it's done well here, I love a powerful, evocative strings intro. I love how this intro just builds anticipation. All of that is really, really good by itself. But when you then drop in this absolutely killer guitar riff, this intro goes from really, really cool to my top 20. Intro number 17, Vanishing Lessons by Tourniquet. Some intros just have an X factor, dude, that they just grab you. It might be hard to describe exactly what it is, but you just dig it.
Silently vanishing, then reappearing.
If I had to try to analyze it, I'd say there's 3 elements about this intro that I just love. Its simplicity is great.
Slipping away for a while.
Number 2, it's super hooky and sticky. Dude, if you listen to this song in the morning, you might just be singing this intro all day long. And number 3, in my humble opinion, I just think the performance on these opening lines is just fantastic. Intro number 16, Blinded by Messiah Prophet. First off, I'm just a total sucker for some absolutely awesome neoclassical sweep pick shredding. And then they follow that up beautifully with just a killer guitar riff. So the sweep pick shredding sets up this guitar riff, and this guitar riff sets up a beautiful intro for the vocals. Intro number 15, I'm a Warrior by Rob Rock. I honestly don't know exactly how they get this sound. Maybe that's part of the appeal, but everything about these opening bars to me is hooky and inviting and just draws you into the song, which is exactly what a great intro does. I really like how they use the phaser on this, man. You can hear things move from the right speaker to the left, which makes me think I gotta get a good set of headphones, man, and listen to it through that. And of course, part of what makes a stellar intro is that it leads you into a stellar song. And this song and Rob's performance on it is just amazing.
I could see the city lights, then they turned to black.
Intro number 14, Frontline by Idle Cure. This is another one of those simple but powerful vocal intros.
Bring it on, we're ready!
What I love about this opening vocal is it's just dripping with conviction and challenge and inspiration. I mean, he's like reaching out through the speakers and calling you into this challenge to step up to the front lines.
You know what to do, fighting on the front line.
Intro number 13, Dreams by Recon. This is an intro that I would describe with the word grand. It's just a powerful, dramatic metal announcement that says, get ready. Melodic metal awesomeness is coming. This is the kind of intro that as a teen, I would have closed my bedroom door, cranked up my stereo, got all my lights set up just right because I had colored lights so that I could do my air guitar performances just right, dropped the needle, and had a blast just acting this thing out because it's just got that kind of drama and emotional flair to it. Intro number 12, Livin' for My Lord by Ken Tamplin and Friends. This is another powerful vocal intro, but this time instead of a single vocal, he has I have no idea how many tracks stacked on top of each other with all these layers of harmony. And it's another one of those intros that just kind of transports you from wherever you were before the song started to right here, locked in to receive the message of this song, which is super powerful. And oh yeah, the guitar riff that comes out of this vocal intro is absolutely face-melting. Intro number 11, Imaginary Music by Barren Cross. Remember at the beginning I mentioned that one of the factors for choosing these intros was the trigger factor of a song. Its ability to grab me and take me back to a time or a place or a special moment. God brought Barren Cross, and specifically the album Atomic Arena, into my life right at the just beginning days of walking with Jesus. And this song and this album ministered to me in just huge ways. So every time I hear this riff, man, my heart is just filled with gratitude to God and gratitude for Barren Cross and for the fact that there's Christian metal out there that encourages my heart. And when I hear it, I'm just reminded, dude, I'm not alone in this journey. We have an entire metal community that we're part of, and all of that just kind of floods into my heart when I hear this intro. That's why it's on this list. That's why it's number 11. Intro number 10, Jekyll and Hyde by Petra. I know there's some Petra fans watching this and you're thinking, dude, Petra has 2,000 awesome songs. And I like Jekyll and Hyde, but how did that one get on the list, at number 10? Well, here's what you got to know about me, okay? I'm an 80s metal guy. And so while I liked Petra, and now my appreciation and love for Petra is really way bigger than it was BC, of course. But when I heard Jekyll and Hyde, I remember I was living up in Mishawaka, Indiana. It was in the early 2000s. And I thought, dude, now that guitar tone, that's got some muscle to it. It drew me in. I loved it. And that's one of the things I love about Bob Hartman. He was always innovating and growing and stretching. And this riff, it's a great riff, but the tone of the guitar, man, it's just gnarly. It's hard rock. It's got attitude. It's got all those things. And live, it's just through the roof awesome. And like all good intros, it sets up an awesome vocal entry for John Schlitt.
I have a secret that I let nobody see.
Intro number 9, Stranger by Holy Soldier. I call this a Bam Bam intro. If you're anywhere close to my age, you'll remember the Flintstones cartoons, right? Fred and Wilma, their little girl, her name was Pebbles. And Fred's buddy, who was Barney, of course, he and Betty, who lived next door, they had a boy. And his name was Bam Bam. And he was always going around with his club, his caveman little club. Bam, 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 bam. Well, listen, this intro kind of has that vibe to it. First, there's the stacked vocal bam.
Stranger!
Immediately followed by this face-melting guitar riff bam. And then it just launches into the song. Intro number 8, Home Again by Christovox. Dude, this is like the total opposite end of the spectrum from a Bam Bam intro. This is just a sweep you off your feet with emotion, just usher you into an atmosphere of pondering and reflection intro. I'll be honest, I tear up most times that I listen to this song. It's just that emotional and evocative for me. The opening stacked harmony vocals and the intro of Adam's voice are just a beautiful piece of music. And the way they bring in that acoustic guitar, the tone, the chord choice, everything about it. It just drips with a spirit of invitation to reflect and ponder the message of the song, which is insanely powerful.
My Lord started a fire, but it hurts to hold it out.
It really is kind of a prodigal son story about running from God and coming home, and how the Father loves us and his arms are always there open saying, come home. Obviously, I love the song, but the intro sets it up perfectly. Intro number 7, Rebellion by Sacred Warrior. This is the very first drum intro on this list. I don't know about you, but I love to hear a really good drummer. And it's really obvious that some thought went into bringing this in the way he did, and it just grabs you. The drums set up the perfect intro point for the guitars to kick into full melodic metal mode. The riff is just gnarly, and Bruce Swift's lead guitar work is just tasty and melodic. And then Ray Parra's vocal comes in. And I'm instantly thinking, dude, did Queensryche just get saved? Just love the song, love the intro. Intro number 6, Do You Still Believe in Love by Rage of Angels. This intro is on this list at number 6 for 2 basic reasons. Number 1, the trigger factor. This album came out during a very intense season of transformation and spiritual growth for me in 1989. Think about this. 1987, I hit the bottom of the barrel. Godly sorrow crushed me. God's love brought me to that place of brokenness, and I surrendered to Christ. 1988, 6 months after I rededicated my life to Christ, I'm diagnosed with a brain tumor. I have this surgery. I'm left legally blind. I'm afraid. I'm seeking God. I'm walking through the valley of the shadow, man. The Holy Spirit begins to tug on my heart regarding ministry. I signed up for classes at this Christian university, Anderson University, there in my hometown. I start to school. I meet this girl named Kelly from Pennsylvania, who now is my wife of 35 years. All this stuff is going on. I'm growing and stretching like crazy. And this album comes out. And if you know this album, you know this was one of those rare gems that comes along, and it's just awesome from start to finish. I was living with my dad, and I sat in this back room we had, and I listened to this CD nonstop. There wasn't a bad song on it. And this intro just is kind of representative of that album in my mind. The lick is so melodic and tasty. It's another one of those licks that just got that sticky factor. You hear it once and it just stays with you. Intro number 5, City Streets by Resurrection Band. Resurrection Band was one of the very first Christian hard rock bands that I listened to. Colors, the album that City Streets was part of, came out in 1980. I didn't find it till 1982. I wasn't even a Christian, but I was interested in Christian rock. And so we didn't have any Christian bookstores in Anderson at the time, so we drove down toward Indianapolis to a little town called Castleton, and they had a Berean bookstore. And that's when you could, drop the tape. You could go into the listening room and sample things and listen. And I heard this riff. I bought it, man. Remember, I'm like this diehard AC/DC guy in my BC life. And this riff really, to me, had that AC/DC vibe. It drew me in. And I just love this whole album. But this riff, every time I hear it, man, takes me back. It encourages me. Intro number 4, Out of the Darkness by Bloodgood. This is another one of those intros that has a trigger factor of 11. This intro's on this list because of the way this entire album ministered to me in 1989. So many things happened during those years. I ran through the list a few minutes ago. But another part of that part of the story is that my mom and dad got divorced just a couple of years before that. And I'm still recovering from my brain tumor, and my legal blindness is still something I'm getting used to. And I was sort of homeless. I mean, there were a lot of places I could go, but I ended up living with my friend Mike Davis and his family for a little while there in Anderson. And I had a nice bedroom that they provided for me. I had this little jam box. And I didn't really know who Bloodgood was. This is the first album that I encountered of theirs. And I'm still in that mode of trying to, check out Christian rock, see what it sounds like. And I dropped this in, man, and I heard this intro. And at that time, I was still skeptical of Christian metal as to whether it measured up, to my old standards of what I, thought was cool. And this intro, it held my attention, man. It drew me in. It opened up my heart to hear the rest of the message of this song. Intro number 3, Who Will You Follow by Whitecross. During that time when I had just come home from the hospital for my brain tumor surgery, and I lived with my grandma for about 6 months recovering, and I was just full of a lot of uncertainty. I was still pretty new in my walk with the Lord. I really didn't know if there was very much metal out there that was great. I don't even remember how I came across Whitecross's debut album. This would have been 1988, so it came out the year before, but I had just found it. And I dropped their cassette into my little clock radio cassette player, and I heard this opening riff. Now, dude, if you came up in the 80s, you know that Whitecross drips with melodic 80s metal vibes. So when I heard that riff, I was like, oh, this is sweetness. This is awesome. I was so encouraged by it, and I've never forgotten that moment. So every time I hear that riff, I'm taken back to that moment in that bedroom at Grandma's apartment. Intro number 2, In the Night by Saint. I heard this intro in 1987. This is the summer that I rededicated my life to Jesus. Through the influence of my grandma, I had gotten on a plane in Indianapolis, drove from my hometown of Anderson, where I was just surrounded by party buddies. Grandma said, you got to get out of here, Brad. You got to leave these influences. You got to go somewhere where you can get your heart straight with Jesus. And she suggested that I fly out to Wichita, Kansas, had family out there that were involved in ministry. I got on a plane, flew out there, and totally surrendered to Jesus. And I'm working for this little car repair shop there in Wichita, Kansas as a parts runner. I would drive all over town and get parts for various repairs that needed to be done. There was a bookstore there in Wichita called the Better Book Room. You could go in there. The music was in the back. And of course, the rock was in the back of the back. And I'm flipping through, and I'm just like, is there any metal out there that's Christian? And I see this album cover. I'm instantly like hooked. If they didn't have a listening room, I would have bought it just for the art. But they did have a listening room, and I went back there and I dropped the cassette in and I put the headphones on, and here's what I heard. And that intro led to a summer of jamming. I had this little Sony Walkman, put the headphones on, and I was driving this old beater Datsun, like 210 or something like that, as a rust bucket. And I'm driving all over Wichita all summer long, just rocking to Saint. God's just filling my heart and encouraging me. It was just awesome. This intro is what sparked all of that. So yeah, every time that I hear it, talk about trigger factor, man, takes me back. And now we come to intro number 1, Yahweh by Stryper. This intro is number 1 on my list for 3 reasons. Number 1, when I first heard this, I was at my brother's house in Anderson in his man cave. And he's like, dude, you got to hear the new Stryper. Because both he and I have loved them, from the beginning. And when he played it, I was like, oh my goodness, that's epic. That's awesome. And in my heart, it marked what I refer to as the return of Stryper. I mean, dude, when they came out of their breakup and came out with Reborn all the way through No More Hell to Pay, those were good albums, and No More Hell to Pay was really good. But when I heard this, I I was like, oh my goodness, Stryper's back, dude. And another reason I love this intro is it just evokes worship in my heart as soon as I hear it. I remember being in Dr. Reese's Old Testament class at Johnson University. Dr. Reese just went off on the power of that name and the reverence that is given to that name in Scripture. And the way Stryper brings that name in with just this grandeur and really tells the story of the gospel through the eyes and the actions and the love of Yahweh. It's just amazing. So that vocal intro is epic. And then they follow it up with just this face melting guitar riff. It's just absolutely the utter definition of an epic Christian metal intro. And that's why it's my number one.